Hey again, it's Aaron Kohler, and last week I had the opportunity to share my generosity story, which completely changed my life. But this week I wanted to share with you another amazing, life-changing story. But it's not my story, it's not the story of another staff member, but actually one of my friends, Dianne, a fellow attender here at Community. And Dianne writes this: when I was 18 years old, life took everything away from me, even the most precious thing, a child. In the wake of that, I became homeless and spent the nights sleeping on a bench in the city. My only food was a meal a day that my friend would give me when she gave me some money. I was so grateful, but of course I began to ask God, why? Why would you allow this to happen to me? But in a surprising way, despite my pain, my rejection, my hunger, my loneliness, I somehow never blamed God. Sure, I cried out to God and I asked God why, but I never blamed Him. It was the hardest time of my life, but I never blamed God. And I knew deep down inside that God never left me or forgot about me. Now you can fast forward 9 years, and I'm married now. And unexpectedly, my husband lost his job. We had 3 kids, car loans, bills, and all seemed impossible to make ends meet. Again, I cried out to God and asked Him why. And that's when I heard Him say, "Test me in this." Testing is an Old Testament reference to God telling His people who, like Dianne, were experiencing hardship. And God says to His people, "Test me in this. Test me and trust me with your finances. Give back to me a tithe or 10% and see if I don't throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out my blessing on you." We started to tithe consistently. We gave 10% and even more when we could. And when we gave out of our scarcity, God made something out of nothing. I went from being homeless to a homeowner, from being lonely to having a loving husband, from losing a child to God blessing me with 3. God is so faithful. I love that story. And what I love most about this story is how Dianne talks about God making something out of nothing. You see, I don't think this is just something that's true for Dianne. I think this is something that's true for each and every one of us who chooses to trust God and even test God in this area of generosity. See, God promises to open the floodgates of heaven and pour out His blessings. Maybe it's a relational blessing. Maybe it's a physical blessing. Maybe it's a blessing of God's peace. And maybe sometimes it is financial blessings. See, in my first video message, I shared how God doesn't want something from us, He wants something for us. And that something is a life filled with His blessing. Well, thank you again for your generosity, and I hope these messages encourage you as you continue to trust in God.